Hey YouTube, this is Nashtaters. Welcome back to another episode of War of Divisions. And today is Monday, which means brand new news. And let's just jump right into it. And 6-month anniversary countdown part 2 login bonus. So as you can see, we're always going to get our typical 2,500 gems, but this week we're going to be getting a lot of skip tickets. I think the company knows that everyone's busy skipping story mode or whatever that they're doing, and they're trying to trigger the Whimsy shop so they can get the shards for the Final Fantasy Tactics they're needing. Now this week also starts the Orlando and Ramza summoning banners, and of course they're going to show up in the shops. So it's important that players from the first go around that didn't finish, they need more skip tickets. So I think this is very thoughtful of them. Next, we're going to be doing some JP and item drops, which is kind of nice too, because those folks who are actually farming specific story modes for specific item drops, this is going to be very good. You're going to be getting extra JP items, and this is a great time to go ahead and double up on many of the items you need to level up the jobs for your units. Now, Final Fantasy Tactics, for those of you that love that game, perhaps know now that there was this deep dungeon. I forgot the name of the actual dungeon, but it was a very, very nice sort of end game dungeon. But before I get into that, let's go ahead and finish the only other news on today's notice board. So obviously we're going to be getting some reruns, because they need to fill in some gap for those players that show no interest in the Final Fantasy Tactics banner. For this one, we're going to be getting Magicite reward quests returning 3 times a day. And this is a great opportunity to really try to farm some Magicites to try to finish up some of your Espers. This is probably a good one for many players. The Iron Giant challenge is returning, which allows you to farm the golden armor, which is really good for really heavy hitting / tanky units. This is something that I didn't farm a whole lot back in the days. So I'm looking forward to this to try to get maybe a couple of golden armors for myself. So let's go ahead and talk about Midlight Deep. Now this dungeon is supposedly to mimic that of the endgame dungeon from Final Fantasy Tactics. And I read this once over already before I decided to make this video, obviously. So here's the thing. There's Fog of War on this dungeon. Now honestly, I don't remember if that's how it was in the original game, but this is a pretty nice touch. After defeating enemies, the crystals will light up the stage. Or in other words, imagine you're in a fog of war, you can't see anything, and you light up a torch, you can at least see some distance ahead of you. I think this is kind of neat. But I'm not sure if this will work out for some players because of the fact that maybe in the later dungeons, you will actually need to step on those crystals. And I guess the good thing is, once you start killing off the enemy units, and you already kind of sort of know where they're at eventually if there's only one enemy unit left. So we'll see how that goes. Very interesting concept. And it's talking about that you can get this collaboration limited UR equipment item, the Lesalia, or man. Why do they keep torturing me with these words? But nevertheless, let's just call it the Royal Guard Standard Issue Sword. Sounds a little bit easier to say. So the Royal Guard Sword, it offers really good stats actually. It offers slash attack +8, ice attack +8. So as you can see here, HP it gives you 44, attack physical 162, magical power attack 92, a hit of 20. I think that's the largest I've seen so far. And then it gives you a crit of 2. Not much to write home about on the crit, but nevertheless it's something. But if you clear the 5th floor of the deep dungeon, then you can get this sword, which is kind of cool. You don't even have to go all the way. But there are some nice rewards if you are clearing it. Here are the basic rules. Your units have to be level 20. You can use up to 5 units. Just like the Porcelain Tower, if a KO unit after the battle ends, then you cannot use that unit for the subsequent floors. Units that are petrified are obviously considered KO'd. and items cannot be used. So this is important. This is important for many reasons. 1, you need some support units. 2, you need to have worked on your vision cards, which helps reduce petrify. So if you're clearing floors where you're dealing with enemies that can petrify you, it's quite crucial to get rid of that petrify as best or as fast as possible so those units can move on to the next floor. Just like the porcelain tower, any remaining HP/abilities will carry over to the next floor. That means if you use an Esper, if you use some abilities on your equipment and whatnot, they will be considered used and cannot be carried over. Also, an important thing is you do get to fully recover your units every 24 hours. So therefore, it's crucial to go as deep as possible within the first day. And then of course, make sure you use your full recovery wisely. Try to get as much clearing as possible. Start throwing those baby units because you don't have anything to lose. Try to get as much damage in and kill as many enemy units as possible. And every time you do something on that floor, try to memorize where they're at. So therefore, you can kind of sort of avoid the fact that those crystals will probably not going to be there the subsequent attempt that you're going to go after those floors. Just like the porcelain tower, they're going to be EX quests. And pretty much I don't really need to explain how this works. Simply put, EX quests are going to be harder, but they're going to give you higher rewards. And if you clear the entire dungeon once through, each subsequent clear, you're probably going to get rewards. They're going to be not as good as the first clear, but you're still going to be getting rewards. And the game talks about how you're going to be earning many different things, like the sword, more spheres, and then prisms, fragments of thought, and rare summon tickets. Currently, the way it's stating is there's 10 floors, and if you clear the final floor, you will actually get a 10x pull. It's pretty nice, but honestly, I don't even think that's a big deal. Because here's how I look at it. We're getting tons of free summons. So if you cannot clear the 10th floor, it's not really that big of a deal because you're already getting tons of free summons. Other thing is, it's just a rainbow vision sphere. I know that sounds crazy and might get, stepped on by viewers, but once you get to the point where you have many units built, one single rainbow sphere is not going to be the end of the world. I have skipped many situations where I don't actually attempt something in the game and I avoid the rewards. But when it comes back and I'm much stronger, I can get those rewards. Those rewards, generally speaking, don't reset, as I've seen by the new event that we're doing now with the guns, right? The Ras El Ghathi. I'm not saying that if we ever get this dungeon back in the future, it will or will not reset. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's a possibility that if you don't defeat it now, you have a chance to do it if Final Fantasy Tactics Part 3 comes around. And I know this for a fact, but for those who don't believe me, it doesn't really matter. But like I said, I know this for a fact that many players actually emailed the company asking them and giving them suggestions on future Final Fantasy Tactics banners. And they actually have responded, believe it or not, that they're taking many considerations on the suggestions given to them. Now, they already hinted at the idea that the banners will be coming back in the future, but this is just hearsay, right? It's this he said, she said kind of situation. More or less, this is an I said situation. So take it with a grain of salt. But assuming it does not come back, one Rainbow Vision Sphere can be easily made up in multiple situations throughout the game. So don't fret if you don't defeat the dungeon, is pretty much my point. But if you do try and you do end up doing it, I hope you guys all do it actually, obviously, for the sake of increasing power level for the entire community. I hope everyone does it. And hopefully you guys can get all the rewards. So I think that's that. And that concludes pretty much all the news for Monday. Nothing too exciting because everybody knows everyone's working on the Final Fantasy Tactics banner, working hard to get all their units finished. This week, as a gentle reminder that we'll be getting the daily purchases for Agrius, and that it'll be officially ending for Delita. And then of course we're going to get Orlando, and we're going to get Ramza in the summoning banner. And then of course they're going to start showing them in the shops. So I strongly advise people to try to get the shards of the units you're working on now as fast as possible, and take the advantage the following week, which will start on Wednesday, to finish off your Orlando or Ramza or both that you need shards for. Just a common sense advice. Now, let's go ahead and do my summons because I now feel that I should end my videos with summons rather than beginning my videos with summons. Because one of the algorithms of YouTube is people generally don't like to watch a whole video. But in order to improve my channel, I think it's important that people support the channel by trying their best to watch everything on the channel, on the video. Therefore, it will attract other viewers to increase views. Therefore, I have a potential to continuously improve this channel in terms of both subscribers and viewers. So, but also I'm almost hitting 350, and I think my last video kind of really got people to start thinking about the different ways to obtain things in the game. There were some, people opposing to my suggestions, and there were some people supporting my suggestions. Either way, I'm just happy that people are actually commenting because that shows that they care. All right, let's go ahead and summon. Now, as you can see, I didn't actually full screen this, and right now it's not really a big issue, but it's pretty early in the morning. I've been kind of playing hardcore on this game the last few days, mainly because, again, I emphasize the idea that if I play a lot now, I don't have to work as hard in the next couple of weeks. I can kind of just relax and sort of pseudo, play different things, maybe enjoy some other events that they got going on. So that's my plan. Let's go ahead and summon. What we got? But actually, for this sake, I'm gonna go ahead and full screen it for you guys. All right, there we go. It's a silver book, so most likely it's nothing special, but it is a unit, so I don't really need Lesalia because I have her fully maxed. I think the only unit that I'm maybe thinking about trying to get would be maybe Dario. I mean, I already have him, but maybe I can work on him. Actually, you know what? I will gladly take like maybe Grace, because I can always use more Grace. Mega rare, Birth of New Life. All right. Grace. Bestral. Or Bestrali, maybe some people pronounce it that way. He's a pretty good thief, but for MR quality, you can probably go with some of the lower rarity thieves for the sake of whatever it is that you're trying to do. Here we go. Is it gonna turn rainbow? Nah. Well, looks like it's a Bestrali day. Again, that's all the time I have for this video. Remember, time above anything else is your most valuable resource. Don't let it slip by. And as always, take care of yourself and all your family members and your loved ones and whatnot. Nashtaters and his family out. Peace.